In this video, we're going to talk about why strong men cannot Asian squat. We're going to talk about bone shapes and what they might or might not have to do with strong men's ability to Asian squat. And we're going to talk about what strong men who like to lift weights can do to improve their ability to do the Asian squat. So make sure you watch through to the end of this video so that you understand everything there is to know about deep Asian squatting for strong men. So we know we're all on the same page. The deep Asian squat is sometimes known as the Slav squat, the resting squat, the ATG squat, the Hindu squat, the Peruvian squat, the Polish squat, the Russian squat, the minor squat, the whatever squat. It's a human squat. This is the pooping squat. This is the position all of us used to be able to do very well before the advent of toilets and chairs and benches and seats that are ubiquitous. If you don't know what ubiquitous means, then you need to go get yourself a dictionary. And if you don't know what a dictionary is, then you should probably Google it. I've made a bunch of videos about the deep Asian squat, and I've seen some really angry responses from men who like to lift weights and who are very proud of how strong they are. Some of them seem very offended by the idea that weakness in their legs or in their hips may be the reason why they can't do a deep Asian squat. And if you think about it, it makes sense that they're this angry because they are really strong. They're able to squat with hundreds of pounds on their shoulders or on the high part of their backs if they're doing low bar squats. Fred and I agree 100% that that is objectively strong. So when I say that somebody is too weak in their legs and hips to do the deep Asian squat, I'm being more specific than just saying that you are weak. Because when you call strong people weak, you're asking for trouble. What I'm actually saying is your legs and hips are weak at doing this specific position, and that's a very important distinction. Hopefully that will get them to not punch you or me in the face. Let me give you some examples to make this clear. If my buddy Fred and I did a whole lot of bicep curls and kept working on this for years and kept building up the weight and building up these biceps, we would probably get really strong and really solid at the bicep curl. So assuming I was lifting and building these biceps year after year after year, I would be able to say objectively that I am strong. I might have these huge massive boulders here on my upper arm, but I wouldn't be necessarily strong at other movements. In fact, I might find some basic movements really difficult. For example, I might not be able to fully straighten my arm anymore because I didn't train any tricep motion and I didn't learn how to extend my elbow anymore. In that case, you could accurately say that I am weak at contracting my triceps and getting elbow extension, and you could call me weak and I'd have to just take it. Likewise, you might see guys at the gym only doing upper body day. They bench press 3 times a week, maybe more, occasionally do some pull-ups, and never do any leg exercises. Their upper bodies are going to be much more developed than Fred's, but their lower bodies look just about as bony. For those guys, we could say that they have strong upper bodies and that their bodies are good at doing the bench press motion and perhaps the pull-up motion, but they're probably not good at doing squats. They're actually weak at doing squats of any kind because they don't do squats. I think it's time for you to consider going to the gym. I want to take 1 nanosecond to thank Kathy and Carolyn for the $10 donations to support this channel. If you want to support me too, use the thanks button or a PayPal link that you'll find down in the description box. Now let's get back to it. When you're thinking about human movement, it's important to realize that getting in and out of positions requires muscles to work properly and with one another. If there is a position or a movement that you're not able to achieve, it's because your muscles don't know how to do it properly. That could be a problem of one single muscle not being able to lengthen. That could be a problem of another muscle not being able to shorten and contract with enough force. It can be both. When you're looking at a position like the deep Asian squat where your ankles, your knees, and your hip joints all need to be able to move and on both sides of your body, you have a lot of muscles that need to be coordinated and need to coordinate with one another. If all you ever practice is a shallow squat, or you're just working on heavily loaded squats where you bring your hips only just to that bare minimum point and then get back up, you are training your muscles to be really good at staying above a deep Asian squat level. That's what gets your hips and your legs really weak at doing the Asian squat, but really good at the same time at doing a loaded barbell squat. But if you want to have more options, you need to practice those options and accept that the only reason those options aren't currently available is because of RPP, repeated position practice. You have been repeatedly practicing the same positions, and now you need to RPP some new positions. With time and dedication, you can create new options, and then you'll be able to Asian squat too. Now, sometimes people will claim that bone shapes are the big issue, that people who are of European descent are not made for deep squatting, or that people who are Russian are not made to deep squat, or people who are whatever, too tall, too short, blah, 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 are not able to Asian squat. I've even seen some legitimate expert voices out there make absolutely ridiculous claims that hip bone shapes are what stop human beings on the earth today from being able to deep squat. Of course, there's no good data to back this up, and if you look from an anthropological perspective, it's complete horse poo-poo, or more specifically, human poo-poo. Because if you were a human being at any point in human history before the introduction of Western-style toilets, guess what? You had to be able to deep Asian squat if you wanted to relieve yourself. So to propose something as crazy as bone shapes blocking human beings from being able to deep squat means you have to completely ignore that there have been billions of human beings before modern times that had to squat deep in order to poop. If your ancient ancestors couldn't squat deep to poop, how do you think they survived long enough to reproduce? So I hope you have a little more confidence in your own ability to do the deep human or Asian squat. If you want to learn how to deep Asian squat, check out the videos that I'm going to link right here. If you want to support this channel, please use the thanks button that you'll find down below or the PayPal link in the description box. And I promise I will not use your money to write a book about humans pooping. Subscribe with notifications on, hit the like button, and as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.